1 million borrowers will face a fixed-rate mortgage cliff. Let's have a look. Good evening, everyone. Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your hashtag, not sponsored, but free if you buy petrol coffee that my wife got me tonight. Very nice of her. And let's have a look at this article from Mortgage Business discussing the fixed-rate mortgage cliff. Now, this is something I've discussed many times on the channel here because, well, let's just say a lot of us didn't trust the RBA when they said rates would stay fixed until 2024 because, shit, the year's nearly over. Bloody hell, it's month number 8. I'm just looking at the date here. Okay, it nearly is 2024, but, you know, we'll just have a look here at this chart. We'll bring him up. Yeah, there you go. So it didn't, you know, they almost got it right. They almost got it right with no increases until 2024, almost. Now, to be fair, the media played it up. The media took what the RBA said and just ran with it. They didn't look at it in any greater depth. And the problem is the average punter doesn't have time to look at what the media is saying to any greater depth. Honestly, that's probably the reason why we have so many problems here, to be quite honest, in the world right now. But anyway, and, well, 1 million people are going to face this cliff. So let's check this one out, guys. So, 1 million borrowers face the fixed-rate cliff. RBA Governor Philip Lowe noted that while the peak of the fixed-rate cliff had surpassed, 1 million borrowers are yet to transition. Okay, so we've already seen the peak of it. There's still 1 million that are yet to transition. That's me. We're fixed until November 2024. I fixed for 4 years. I know other people that have. My neighbor up the road, she got an even better deal than me. I think she got under 1.9. I got 1.99. Just fixed it. I did it because Rachel wanted me to stop paying off the mortgage and start doing a house renovation because I was going through my micropayments phase. Every time I found a little bit of extra money, chuck it off the mortgage, chuck it off the mortgage, chuck it off the mortgage, just slowly chip away at it. It's a real fun game. You should try that. So we're going to be hit with higher rates soon. And let's jump over here. We'll have a look at the good old Excel table. And the last time we checked this out, we were looking at New South Wales average mortgage, which is $786,000, going from 1.99% up to 6.59%, which is a pretty standard fixed rate. You're looking at a 72% increase in your mortgage repayments. So you're going up from $2,900 a month to $5,000 a month. You'll need to spend $60,000 a month on your mortgage. Now, a house in New South Wales, a mortgage in New South Wales, which is going to be impacted by Sydney, it's not for the average person anymore. The average family is not going to be buying in Sydney, or if they are, you need 2 people on above average incomes. Does that make you average anymore? There's the question. So, yeah, you got to find $60,000 a year just on your mortgage. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people, as opposed to $34,000 a year. But this, we know these low rates are not real. They were artificially low. The question should be, was it appropriate for the Reserve Bank to cut those rates? Was it appropriate for the government to do all the economic interventions and restrictions that necessitated or made the Reserve Bank feel the necessity to stimulate the economy like this? When's the discussion about that going to happen at the political level? I don't think it will. I just hope we don't have lockdowns for, helping people save money for deposits. Because a lot of people got in. A lot of people would have bought at these low rates. A lot of people would have expected them to stay low until 2024 and would have really tried to hit the mortgage as much as they could. And a lot of them have, faced reality a little bit earlier. But, you can't blame people for wanting to get into housing in Australia because, renting isn't fun, is it? During his recent address to the House of Representatives Standing Committee on Economics on the 11th of August, marking the conclusion of his governorship, Mr. Lowe reflected on his extensive career at the Reserve Bank of Australia, particularly his role as governor since 2016. He acknowledged his team's dedication to economic policy, but also admitted a lack of full comprehension regarding the implications of the pandemic a bit more, alluding to the RBA's earlier projection of prolonged low interest rates until 2024. We certainly didn't expect to get to this position. We didn't expect it. Financial markets didn't expect it. Other forecasters didn't expect it, Mr. Lowe stated. But let's just say if you if you make your decisions contrary to the statements of the RBA, based on, I don't know, previous forecasts they may have had, just lying around somewhere, you would have been right, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? But then again, that's just being probably a little bit sensible and risk-averse. However, the persistence of inflation around 6%, greater than expected, prompted the central bank to respond swiftly by raising interest rates to 4.1%. As such, the high volume of mortgage holders who locked into record low rates during the pandemic, around 2%, have been forecast to roll over onto variable rates around 6% this year, a transition closely monitored by the central bank. Mr. Lowe noted that around 1 million borrowers had successfully transitioned from their fixed-rate loans to variable loans without defaulting on payments. Now this, you've got to remember, everyone, we will get a lot of sob stories in the media, negative media, because, well, it's entertaining. We all want to see it. Who doesn't like a good sob story every now and then? Or, I mean, I'll watch Dave Ramsey, and they're people, they're just sharing their stories of the stupid things and disasters they did. It's satisfying when people dig themselves out of a shithole and get their life together and succeed. Those are the stories we want to hear. But it's like, there's a show. There's a Pommy show I watched. I mentioned it on the channel a few years ago. I think one of the viewers actually mentioned it to me. Can't afford to pay, will take it away. And this is just people getting done by debt collectors. And the debt collectors come in and take their shit. I should watch that again. I don't know. Am I a bad person for enjoying that type of show? It's kind of like the Jerry Springer type of stuff. I don't think that one's fake. You'd hope it would be, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want to be in debt and then someone rocking up with a TV crew to take away your stuff. Extra humiliation. Let's keep going back here. He projected another 1 million borrowers would undertake this transition over the next 18 months. We know from the banks that the million that have transitioned haven't fallen behind on their housing loans in any greater rate than people with variable rate loans, he emphasized. He attributed this smooth transition to widespread awareness and market dissemination of information. People are getting prepared. People are prepared. This transition from a low fixed rate loan to a renewal rate loan has been the most telegraphed increase in mortgage repayments ever. Borrowers have known this is coming, and people, not everyone, have prepared for it. In the lending market, brokers have played a real good role in finding people the best deal. However, he observed that a similar framework was lacking in the deposit market, potentially paving the way for enhanced transparency through open banking. Consequently, he urged all Australians to prompt competition among banks. I encourage you to shop around and make them work harder for your money. And some will pay you more than 5%. We want the banks to compete hard for our money, and we have a role in making them compete, Mr. Lowe said. I need to look again. I'm getting sick and tired of the IGN, where you got to jump through 50 million bloody hoops to get your interest. I'm over it. I'm really over it. I need to find a nice, good, boring bank, like in the old days. Does Bank of Melbourne still exist? They're part of Westpac now, aren't they? While acknowledging the challenges posed by high interest rates and financial pressures on mortgage holders, Mr. Lowe asserted that the economy was in a reasonable place and emphasized that the situation would be far worse if high inflation persisted. High inflation is corrosive to the healthy functioning of the economy, and it makes life more difficult for everybody, especially those on low incomes, he said. Well, judging by the conversations I'm having with the asbestos removers up the road, I got to tell you guys this story. Oh, it's a doozy. Across the road from where we're renting, people bought this old workers' cottage little rental one, and what they did is they started demoing it. Which is fine. We can't find a sign anywhere from who the builder is. We thought maybe they own a builder and they just haven't bothered putting the sign up. They demolished all the ground floor. And it was one of those enclosed raised Queenslanders where they've got the fake brick. And you know what that's made out of? It's all asbestos. And they left it lying on the curb. I don't think they realise what they've done. And then someone must have dobbed them into council. Council was there, the EPA was there, or the environmental, whatever the department was there. And now I've been talking to the boys removing the asbestos. He's going to have to take 100 tons away from the site. And this is just a small block. He's going to have to dig 100 mils off across the whole site and then check for asbestos and then do 50 mils until there's none left. I think his dumping is costing him 200 a ton, and he's going to have to wipe down both the houses next door. Every tree, the house, the facade, wipe it with essentially baby wipes or wipes. That's going to cost them a lot of money. Boy. And here I was a couple of years ago asking advice from and receiving good advice from my viewers on the channel on how to get rid of asbestos legally and easily, taking it down to Logan. But, so the reason I mentioned that was, aside from it being a good story, and damn, that's a horrific additional cost that you should have been aware of when you bought the building, because they paid a lot for it. Talking to him, flat out, work everywhere. Everyone I'm talking to is flat out. You know, I don't, at least in the construction circles that I frequent, it doesn't seem like the economy is taking any hit at all. At least here in Queensland. Anyway, back to this. While inflation had come down from its 7.8% peak, it remained high, and historical consequences of high inflation could lead to even higher interest rates and unemployment. It is for this reason that the Reserve Bank Board remains resolute in its determination to return inflation to the 2 to 3% target range, Mr. Lowe said. Looking forward, it is possible that some further tightening of monetary policy will be required to ensure that inflation remains to target or returns to target within a reasonable time frame. So we might see rates go up again. Now, if you're there desperately waiting for rates to go down, I mean, it's not going to go down that much, guys. We may see 3.5%. That may be the big decrease. And then, you know, I would not be shocked if it just locks there for a couple of years. I mean, that's what you want. That's what we want. We want rates sitting at a sensible level for a long period of time, not doing anything. We don't want to go up and down and up and down. We don't want 0.1% cash rate. That's insane. Okay, if you are hoping, and I would be shocked if any of my viewers are hoping that, but you know, someone shared it. You're who's the guy? I can't think of him. I don't know. You're a rampant lefty vegan viewer who stumbled across this video that's borrowed 50 million times your income to buy the extra fluffy pillows for your doghouse. And I'm tired. But if if you know someone who's waiting for rates, that's probably more likely. If you know someone who's waiting for rates to hit 0.1%, I can't see it happening again in our lifetimes. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Mr. Lowe prepared to step down from his position, with Deputy Governor Michelle Bullock set to assume the role from September 18th. He expressed anticipation for returning to being a private citizen again. Well, there you go. So, guys, let's have a bit of a chat about this one, not that I already have. So, 1 million more people to face this impending fixed-rate mortgage cliff. Honestly, I think people are prepared for it. I don't think it's going to be as dramatic. I think it'll be as dramatic as the interest-only cliff that didn't really materialize to anything. We're going through the insolvency cliff in the construction sector, and that's where we're seeing builders going bust left, right, and center. It really seems to be hitting the residential sector more than any other, which kind of sucks. But I have to see what goes on here. I'm pretty confident that most Australians will be okay. Honestly, I think it's a slow-moving disaster. You've got time to prepare. What do you think, everyone? Thanks for watching, guys. Check out HeiseBim or HeiseDoes, and if you are a fan, you can support us on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call me if you need an architect. Take care. Have a great day. Take care. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. There we go. I'll get the audio playing now, the music, because we got to do the whole outro thing. Because I'm a YouTuber. It's only been doing it for years. I should be better at it, shouldn't I? I've been working all day on a job I got to get out tonight. I'm going right back to draft. I got to get this deadline out. Yeah. See you later, guys. Wish me luck.